Joey got off work at 4 p.m. on Thursday. He hurried out of his office and called a taxi. He worked at the United States Census Bureau located in the Chicago South Side. Joey was playing with the window as he sat in the back seat of the yellow Ford Crown Victoria. He gifted himself with a taxi ride home, as opposed to the regular subway. He was quite happy, even though the cab driver smelled of onion rings and American cheddar. His mind kept running back to the previous night. He took out his phone from his pocket and read for the 10th time those 5 or 6 messages. Should he text her again? Just to make sure. Would she remember? Of course she would. How could she not? He was so charming. Suddenly he thought of those 3 words that she had sent him. Those beautiful, magical 3 words that had made his day, and possibly his week, but mostly his night. Yeah, why not? Such poetry. The taxi stopped, and Joey stepped out, paid the cab driver, and headed home. He opened the door to his apartment. The key would always get a bit stuck. Not this time, though. Finally home, he let his bag fall on the floor and himself on the couch. And for the first time that Thursday, in mid-November, he gave some serious thought to how the date with Lisa would work out.
Marcus was the kind of person who would rather spend the day watching baseball than doing many other things. He's been a Cubs fan for as long as he could remember, and he knew and could think of every single game they'd ever played. In fact, he turned this into a business. He knew which Cub player was known as Mr. Cub. He knew the name of the Cubs goats, and so on and so forth. And all of this came in very handy late at night, at Rockies on West 31st, with the drunken baseball enthusiast with a weak point for gambling. Sitting on his couch, he realized he needed to go grocery shopping, and yet faced the usual mid-month grocery dilemma. On the one hand, he still had those 3 boxes of pasta that remained from the last baseball night he signed with his crew. On the other night, he had eaten processed food for at least 2 weeks. Eventually, he decided that going out was probably the healthiest decision, although he really didn't want to.
Joey stepped out of the shower and looked at himself in the mirror. He liked himself. What was that darker spot on his forehead? Was it a zit? He looked at it intently. Not now, not right before his date with Lisa. Why, God, why? Why would you do this to me? Oh, thank the Lord and his child named Jesus. It was not a zit, just some dirt. He gave himself one last look in the mirror, convinced himself that he was in fact the hottest piece of ass he'd ever seen. He fixed his robe and went to get dressed. Joey decided that it was time for the signature move before any date. His personal hype song. He went to his computer, turned on the speakers, and pressed play. I'm blue, dabba-dee-dabba-die, dabba-dee-dabba-die, dabba-dee-dabba-die.
Marcus opens the door to his house and stumbles over to the dozen grocery bags. He lets them down on the floor and suddenly realizes he's late. He leaves the bags on the floor and he stops and thinks about it. Did he really have to go? He was already late anyway. Who was that guy? Would he really mind if no one came? I would understand. Well, I understood last time. Anyways, that was some time ago. Anyways, he begged me to fight, and if I didn't love her so much, I wouldn't do it. He grabs the key to the entry table and leaves.
Super excited, Joey shows up holding himself from jumping up and down. He was about to see Lisa. He thought about her all day and about last night. He carried his blue and yellow flowers elegantly as he walked closer to the spot where they had decided to meet. Should he have brought chocolates too? Maybe not. Maybe flowers was already too much. What would a normal guy do? Who knows? Who's ever met a normal guy? But who cares? She liked him anyway. She had agreed to see him again.
Marcus stepped out of the car.
Did he have a condom? God damn it, he better have a condom. If he didn't have a condom, he knew he would regret it. Joey was distracted by a man who tapped his shoulder. He said hi back and looked quite surprised. My name is Marcus. Nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm Joey.
Yeah, I know. I'm Lisa's brother. She's not coming. I'm sorry. Joey expressed his discontent.
Fuck!